Today, we're going to unlock an epic story, a history that's not written in books, but in brick, sandstone, and marble. This is the story of India, and it's told by its absolutely incredible architecture.
I mean, really think about that for a second. If the structures all around us could actually speak, what kind of stories would they tell us? Stories of empires, of art, of revolution?
Well, in India, they practically do. These buildings tell a tale of invasions, of sprawling empires, and of profound spiritual movements. It's like a 5,000-year cultural conversation, a constant story of fusion and reinvention.
So, let's jump right in and begin our journey through time. We're going to use these amazing architectural landmarks as our guide, and we'll see how centuries of different cultures all fuse together to create a unique identity, one that's literally written in stone.
All right, so where do we even begin? Well, our story has to start thousands and thousands of years ago with the incredible indigenous foundations of Indian architecture.
This is just mind-blowing. We're talking long before the great empires of Rome or Persia. The Indus Valley Civilization had this unbelievable grasp of urban planning. Imagine entire cities laid out with grid-patterned streets, advanced covered drainage, and even standardized bricks. This wasn't accidental. This was sophisticated, deliberate engineering. The Great Bath at Mohenjo-Daro is just a perfect testament to this, showing a level of skill that laid the very first foundation stone in our story.
Fast forward a few centuries, and you get the Mauryan Empire. They started using architecture in a whole new way, as a big, bold statement of state power. They put up these massive stone pillars with their edicts carved into them and built these large dome-shaped shrines called stupas. They were basically marking their territory all across the land.
And here, this is where things get really interesting. This is our first great moment of fusion. As Greek culture met local traditions in northwest India, something entirely new was born in the art of the Gandhara region.
Just look at this. The fusion is absolutely striking. You can see the Greek and Roman love for realistic human anatomy and those classic flowing robes, but they're being applied to purely Indian Buddhist subjects. What do you get? You get statues of the Buddha that have the features of a Greek god. It was a true East meets West moment, captured perfectly in stone.
Okay, so if that first fusion was a spark, what comes next is a full-on bonfire. A powerful new influence arrives from Central Asia and Persia, and this next wave is going to transform Indian architecture forever.
This kicks off a massive architectural revolution. So the traditional Indian style, the Trabeate style, it relied on posts and beams, which meant rooms were always filled with lots of columns. Then, the incoming Islamic style, the Arcuate style, was built on the arch and the dome. When these two building philosophies merged, the result was breathtaking. Suddenly, you could create these enormous, open, column-free spaces topped with majestic domes.
And this new hybrid style had a really distinct look. You had towering minarets reaching for the sky. Since you couldn't depict human figures, the decoration just exploded into beautiful calligraphy and these complex geometric patterns called arabesque. Artisans would carve stone into these incredibly intricate lace-like screens called jali, and courtyards were totally transformed by serene water features, used both for cooling and just for sheer reflective beauty.
This Indo-Islamic synthesis was refined and perfected over generations, but it reached its absolute peak during the Mughal Empire. I mean, these are the people who would go on to create some of the most iconic and beloved buildings on the entire planet. And what's so cool is you can actually track this evolution from ruler to ruler. You start with the Emperor Akbar, who built these bold, powerful structures out of red sandstone, mixing Hindu and Persian designs. Then his son, Jahangir, started a shift toward the delicate elegance of pure white marble. But it was his grandson, Shah Jahan, who perfected the form, creating masterpieces of perfect symmetry, grace, and just unparalleled grandeur.
A key decorative technique that really became a hallmark of this era was pietra dura. So instead of carving reliefs, artisans would inlay these highly polished, precious and semi-precious stones directly into the marble, creating these stunning jewel-like patterns. This allowed for an absolutely incredible level of detail and beauty. And of course, all of this culminates in the one and only Taj Mahal. It is the ultimate expression of the Mughal vision, the perfected result of centuries of cultural fusion. It became a symbol of India, recognized and revered all across the world.
But the story doesn't end with the Mughals. A final, powerful influence arrived by sea, bringing European architectural taste with it. The British would add one last major layer to India's story before its independence.
So the British brought two main styles to the table. First was Indo-Gothic, which visually blended Victorian features like pointed arches with Indian elements, like you see in Calcutta's Victoria Memorial. But later, for their brand new capital in Delhi, they chose a grander Neo-Roman style. This was all about projecting imperial power, fusing classical Western forms with Indian motifs, like that really distinctive dome on the Rashtrapati Bhavan.
So after this tour through 5,000 years, what's the fundamental DNA of Indian architecture? What's the core takeaway from all this?
It's this. The story written in stone really is the story of India itself. From the ancient Indus Valley to the British Raj, each wave of influence wasn't just copied. It was absorbed, adapted, and totally reinvented. It's this continuous process of taking something foreign and making it uniquely Indian.
And that leaves us with a final thought. In our modern age of globalism and new technologies, this incredible 5,000-year conversation is still going on. The real question is, what new voices will join in, and what unique fusion are they going to create next?